So I started getting water in my car, and at first I noticed a ton of water in my back passenger seat and my front driver's seat here. Just there is the first time I noticed it, and I didn't have a clue as to what it was, and I thought maybe I had left a door partially cracked, but I swabbed it out, and it came back in the back seat. And then I realized what was happening is somehow my back seat was filling up with water on the floorboard, not the seat. And it would roll over to the front over a period of time. But something like that, or it's kind of dropping somewhere in the middle, and the majority of it comes to the back floorboard, and some of it will gradually kind of go to the front. I'm not exactly sure. But then I realized my AC condensation line was fine. I could see that dripping. We pulled out I had help from guys at work, troubleshooting. Thank God, those guys are awesome. I work with a mechanic, and then my boss, and everyone's a tech, and a lot of them are way better techs than myself, but they're really good at troubleshooting. And then come to find out, I didn't even know how moonroofs worked. I just thought a moonroof would seal, but it doesn't work that way. The rubber grommet here is actually designed for water to leak past, and I'm sure a lot of y'all know that, but you've got like a plastic water catch tray that runs along here and here, and then you've got 4 individual tubes that run down your pillars. So one runs down here to this wheel well, and then the same for over here and the rear. So I could access the front drip tray by opening this, and it was pretty clean, and I actually blew those out with compressed air, and then I would dump some water in there and I'd watch them drain. Water was not only getting on the floorboard here, but it was collecting on the ceiling liner at the top around my windshield. So I think what was happening is that my catch tray was clogged. It was overflowing my tube was clogged, overflowing out of the catch tray because it couldn't keep up with the rain, and then it would eventually wet the top of the liner and drip down. What was happening over here, I believe, is my rear was clogged, and somehow, I hope, the water was overflowing from the rear catch tray and riding down the tube, because I have the tube that goes down the C-pillar here into the wheel well on both sides, because it was definitely clogged. My boss brought a snake. You can get them for like $15 at AutoZone, and you can just clear out the tubes. You can get the front from the catch tray inside, but there's no way to get to the rear catch tray unless you drop the liner or snake it from the rear. So when you pop the trunk and you pull back the carpeting, there's a little grommet tube, rubber tube, that the actual tube that runs to the rear catch tray will plug into, and you can just unplug it from that tube, and we snaked it that way. And we had an obvious clog right here on the rear one. So I think what was happening is they were just clogged, and even though some of them were draining, they were just barely draining, and it couldn't keep up with a rapid downpour, and so it was overflowing, running down the tube here, and the front one was overflowing on the liner. So I think it's fixed, but at least I know we've unclogged everything. If any more water gets back here on my floorboard, and I don't believe it will, I'm just taking this to the mechanic that helped me. He's just, man, I'm not a mechanic. I'm even slow pulling off like cosmetic interior stuff because I don't want to break anything. And he's got all those tools. And in no time, he had my back seat out. He had the floor up. He disconnected my passenger seat and pulled it forward. He couldn't take it out because it was connected to the airbag harness. And he had this thing just tore apart in no time, and then he put it back together immediately. So if I get more water, I know I'm gonna have him pull down my ceiling liner, and that would mean that one of these tubes, because they're all draining great, One of these tubes has to be slightly disconnected if I notice any more water in here. You know, that, or for whatever reason, the rear tray that I can't see has a ton of trash in it, and as the rainwater pours into it, it reclogs it back up. It'll be one or the other. But I don't think it has a ton of trash because the front one did not. So I think it's fixed, but that was a pain in the butt. I did that a little bit at work with a mechanic and my boss. And then Friday after work, we completed it. So that sucked. And I'll never buy a car with the moonroof again, especially here in South Texas. Like, you get a little time in the spring, a little time in the fall, but 8 months out of the year, you don't open that damn thing. It's hot. Not worth it. Not worth having to deal with it. So I'll never buy a car with the moonroof again unless I'm just rich and I don't care, because I'll never own it long enough to worry about anything clogging. So, anyways, I'm just sharing that because I saw Fan Stanner share a similar problem he's having with his Thunderbird. That's leaking. Whatever, it's Sunday. Weekends they go too fast. Yeah, his 67 Thunderbird is leaking. There's like a latch on the inside you can pop, and it takes all the smoke in the cabin, in the cab, and it just exhausts it out of the rear, between his rear window and his trunk. The problem is it's got these like 1.5-inch, 2-inch tubes on either side of this vent, and they put like a shitty thin skin rubber in it, round rubber grommet that goes from the vent to dump it out on the ground. I don't know if it runs through metal or plastic, but there's a rubber connection, and of course that shit. Especially, we're talking like a 1967 Ford Thunderbird. It's leaking, and then it fills up his. It's filling up his trunk. So that's potentially worse than what I'm dealing with. But I just watched this and I felt bad for him because I've been dealing with it. I'm just glad I know people, because I am not a mechanic. I do not work on vehicles at all. I can change my battery. I could do bullshit like that, but I'm not a mechanic. And even if I was, it's exceptionally difficult to do stuff at an apartment complex. And where do you keep all the tools? You know what I mean? I have a toolbox, but still, it's a pain in the ass. You need lifts, you need jacks, you need all kinds of stuff if you really want to be able to work on a car. And you can't do that crap at an apartment complex easily. But he was stuffing those rags inside that vent, and they're getting all mildewy, which was exactly what was happening to my car. It was just from the rear seat. And he's going to have to deal with this because it's just not going to go away. Of course, the problem he has is, how the hell do you get discontinued aftermarket stuff? Hopefully they have a place that'll sell those tubes. 1967 Ford Thunderbird. I don't even know if he can find those. He might have to do some makeshift thing. No clue. I wouldn't know. It's a gorgeous car. Anyways, it made me think of it, so I did my own stupid video. And, yeah. Great concept, not worth it.